Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Paranormal Portal. It's our Friday edition. That means 2 fun-filled hours of the paranormal that you can enjoy at your leisure, really. But I hope you guys are here for the live shows. Right all around me. That was the Ghost Radar. For those of you on YouTube, you can hear that. Those of you that are on TFR, you can't. But, yeah, starting off with a bang. I guess they're welcome too. So that is the Ghost Radar. It's up on the screen as always during these live shows. We've been doing this lately. It's kind of fun. Again, I don't know that these things are absolutely indicative of paranormal activity, but it's an indicator that there's some kind of anomaly in the EM field. So maybe somebody was visiting quickly. But just a very quick visit as it happens, because it's literally just for seconds. 4 seconds, it says. So I don't know. We'll see what goes on throughout the course of the show. But welcome, everybody. Hope you had a great week. It's now the weekend, and thank you so much for spending a portion of your weekend right here with me on the show. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, in case you didn't catch that before, if you're brand new. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here and doing the show, and hopefully I'm going to do wonderfully and keep you absolutely entertained throughout the course of the journey. Stick around to the end because there could be a test. That's all I'm going to say. All right. Well, we got a lot to get through tonight. As always, it's just me and all of you out there, so you guys are my co-host tonight. We have a lot to get to, though. We've got the news. Then we've got the Discord question of the week, and then we got some other paranormal goodness that I've pulled up, and then we're going to hit the cryptid corner to round it all out. So we've got a lot to get to, and we are broadcasting on TFR Live tonight. So we will be taking the breaks for those that need them, and sometimes I need them too. So all of that is on deck tonight without too much more ado. Let me think. Is there anything else? Oh, but there is. Let me pull this up because I really don't know how I closed it, but I managed to close it at some point. And I know why, because I was doing some restarts. I had to restart my computer because of updates. And so let me just get to the posting in question here so I can show you about it, because this is kind of exciting, and this is going to be next weekend, folks. It's going to be next weekend in Medellin Falls. There's a screening of a film. What? I can't believe it's just gone from my head. What the hell's wrong with my brain anymore? Oh my God. Let me just see. What is it? What is it called? It's a brilliant movie. I've seen clips of it, and it has to do with experiencers of Bigfoot, and it's this beautiful documentary that was put together by a wonderful couple, the Eisen. Oh man, again, names. What the hell? All right, let me pull this up here, and you can see it for yourself. And let me do this. Yeah, this is me being absolutely prepared as always. But this is next weekend in Medellin Falls, folks. There's going to be a screening of a Flash of Beauty Sasquatch event, and this is the couple that put the show together, and this is Eichenberg. What the hell? Where's the names? I can't remember names to save my life. My God. But there's 4 presenters here that are going to be there. This is at the Cutter Theater in Medellin Falls, Wisconsin. And if you're going to be in the area or are in the area already and maybe want to attend this, let me know. Reach out to me via email, because I may have a hookup for you for tickets. So please reach out to me if you're going to be in the Medellin Falls area, and we'll see what we can do to put you in contact with some tickets, courtesy of Extreme Expeditions Northwest LLC. I got a couple tickets available that you may be interested in. But this has been really highly reviewed and regarded in the Bigfoot and cryptid communities. Let's see. Here it is. No, this isn't it. Nope, here it is. Yeah, virtual tickets. A Flash of Beauty Sasquatch event. The tickets are normally $20 a shot. And, I think it might be a great opportunity for anybody in the area. If you're going to be in the area, please reach out to me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. And I'm just going to, just if there's somebody that gets in touch with me first, you're going to get the tickets. So there's 2 tickets available again. So just reach out to me and let me know. So that's going to be coming up this next March 25th, as it turns out. So I believe that's next Saturday. Is that right? Let me pull this up. Yes, that's next Saturday night, or afternoon rather. And it's, I don't remember what times it is. My God. Why don't they have times posted on here? Make my life a little bit easier. Let's see if we can click. No, it's not saying, but I think it's at 1. Here it is. Let's go. It's at 12 to 3 p.m. at the Cutter Theater in Medellin Falls, Washington. I apologize for my abysmal promotion of this event. It really is something. Don and I are going to be there as well, so we're going to check it out. And again, if you're going to be there or can be there, let me know, and we'll see about connecting you with some tickets if you haven't got them already. So if you have them already, don't reach out. But if you do have them, we want to help people get there if we can. So let me know. And again, paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. Again, for the Medellin Falls Cutter Theater, March 25th from, what did I say it was? This is my brain. 12 to 3 p.m. There we go. at the Cutter Theater, Medellin Falls, Washington. So I was supposed to announce that a couple shows ago, and I just got steamrolled by current events and all that. So I didn't do that. And also coming up on, again, this is my life. I try to be professional. My God, I try to be professional, but I swear my mind's getting like more vapid as I get older, and things just fall out of my head a lot quicker than they're supposed to. But there is a Bigfoot roundup in Spokane Valley, and that's what I'm looking for right now. Here we go. Sasquatch roundup, Spokane Valley, and here we go. All right, let's go to this one. And this one is coming up on June 17th, 2023. As you can see, we've promoted this many times on the show, even into last December. But Dr. Jeff Meldrum will be speaking there. Cliff Barrickman, Ken Gerhard, Michael Freeman, who's son of Paul Freeman of the Freeman footage. Well, I remember that. There's a name I remembered. And Michael Thompson, who's an author out of Alaska and a Bigfoot researcher, and a good friend of mine, Mr. Charles Howard Johnson. So if you want more information about this, I would recommend you head over to www.exnorthwest.com. There is a VIP dinner as well following the event, and you can get the VIP package by going to EX Northwest. And I would encourage you to act now, because this is really selling out fast. So I don't know how long tickets will be available, but I hope if you guys can be there, be there. I'm going to be emceeing the event as it stands now, unless they find someone a lot more talented. But I hope to see you guys there. So again, Spokane Valley Sasquatch Roundup, and this is hosted by Extreme Expeditions Northwest LLC, and that's in Spokane Valley, Washington. So couple of pieces of news and information that I want to share with you. I guess we should get to the news, because the clock is ticking, and my God, when that clock starts ticking, it just keeps ticking. So let's get to the news. I hope you're ready. Let's find out what's going on in the heartbeat of the nation and the world. All right, folks, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk. I'm your anchor, Brent Thomas. It's one of my many roles that I fill here on the Paranormal Portal. So, again, we got some news to get to. There's a few brand new articles here from unexplained-mysteries.com, and then we got some other ones from Sky News, which are really good. Again, thank you, Rachel, for the Sky News link. That helps a bunch, because I'm running out of things from unexplained-mysteries.com. There's only so much news going on. So Rachel found a couple of links that have helped me out a bunch. So thank you, Rachel. All right. So first off, we're going to go to a bit of science, as it were. Hope this isn't too long, but if not, I'll just paraphrase it a bit. So the first article up on the news program tonight is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. Please check them out. Please support what they're doing over there. This site is amazing. I love it. And I can't encourage you enough, because there's so much more on this site than we'll ever cover in the course of these live shows. So the first one up is ancient bear found preserved in permafrost reveals its secrets. I remember when they first found this bear, they thought it was maybe a short-nosed bear or something of that nature, but now I think they've pretty much determined that it's basically a relative of the brown bear that exists today. So it's not a lot different from that. But it says scientists have been studying an incredibly well-preserved bear that was found in the Siberian permafrost. Still sporting soft tissues, internal organs, and a coat of brown hair, the ancient animal, which was discovered on the Lyatkovsky Islands back in 2020, is a fascinating find indeed. When it was first unearthed, scientists believed that it was a species of prehistoric bear known as Ursus spelaeus, which went extinct around 24,000 years ago, but now a renewed investigation by researchers at Russia's Northeastern Federal University has revealed that this bear frozen in time is in fact a modern brown bear and likely dates back a mere 3,000 years. Just 3,000. That's nothing. Even so, its remarkable level of preservation is practically unheard of, providing scientists with a unique opportunity to study the remains of a specimen that roamed the earth several millennia ago. This find is absolutely unique and complete carcass of an ancient brown bear, biologist Maxim Chaprasov told Reuters. For the first time, a carcass with soft tissues has fallen into the hands of scientists, giving us the opportunity to study the internal organs and examine the brain. One enduring mystery about about the find is how the bear even managed to get to the island on which it was found, given that it's separated from the mainland by 31 miles of open water. It is possible that it swam across or perhaps crossed when the water was frozen during the winter, and you can check out the video on the discovery below. So, I don't know. I mean, it's a frozen bear, but it's I mean, it's not as breathtaking or earth-shattering as it would be to recover a specimen like that of an extinct bear. But it's still a window into the past, so that's kind of cool, I guess. I mean, I don't know what the differences would be to studying a bear tag today. But color? The color is the same. The ghost box said color. It's a brown bear. It's brown. There's nothing unique about the color, but thank you. Thank you for your contribution. So that's the first one up for your enjoyment here on the Paranormal Portal News. Next up, we got another article, and this one is more to do with the aliens and UFO stuff, which falls right into line with our theme here on the show, which is the paranormal. So this one is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. Mysteries Revisited, the 1980 Todd Morden UFO incident. This is from March 17, 2023, which is today. It says, over 40 years ago, a British policeman encountered something that would stick with him for the rest of his days. At around 5 a.m. on November 28, 1980, Todd Morden Constable Alan Godfrey had been nearing the end of his shift when he'd been investigating reports of cattle on the estate when he witnessed a large diamond-shaped object hovering above the road just ahead of him. Estimating the unidentified craft to be approximately 20 feet high and 14 feet across, he also attempted to radio for assistance, but found to his horror, his equipment was no longer functioning. Little libation for my permanence of voice. Before he knew it, the object had disappeared, and he found himself 30 yards down the road, having experienced a period of around 25 minutes of missing time that he could not account for. It is what followed the encounter, however, that would cement Godfrey's place in the UFO history books. Around 6 months later, he was tasked with investigating the death of a missing man, Zygmunt Adamski, whose body had been found in Todd Morden coal yard. It wasn't long before the media had linked the man's death with Godfrey's UFO encounter, and the rest, as they say, is history. Godfrey quickly became a household name and has since spent several decades talking and writing about his experiences. Now, I think that the man that was discovered, though, was like, he was deceased. Like, he had been abducted and was, like, dumped on a pile of coal. And it looked like there were some unknown substances, as if they had tried to render first aid, if I recall this case correctly. So that is kind of interesting, I guess. I don't know. Weird, but interesting. During a recent interview, he recalled that the case had attracted the attention of senior officers and a mysterious individual who he believed was some sort of government agent. I was ordered under the Official Secrets Act not to disclose anything to the media about Adamski or my encounter, he said. The stress of the whole thing ultimately ended his career with the police. It wrecked me. It completely changed me, he said. I ended up drinking a bottle of whiskey every single day, and I was nearly an alcoholic. It drove me to despair. To this day, he blames much of this on being silenced by the government. They've released all the UFO files from the Ministry of Defense, and they've never released mine, he said. Yikes. Yeah, that would kind of suck. It would be incredibly tough to have witnessed something like that and not be able to talk, not be able to share at all. And what is the cloak of secrecy? I don't know. I don't understand why they want to clamp down on that so completely. I mean, it's kind of gotten out of hand so that, it's impossible to do anymore because everybody with an experience has access to a world of information through the internet. But back in those days, they didn't. So it was pretty, maybe much easier to go and just say, don't talk to anybody. Don't say a word. And I think they probably do, disavowing these kind of people for the most part when the stories do get out there. Oh, this is, that guy. He's got some problems. He's been under observation for psychiatric issues. And they can destroy somebody's reputation in other ways, I guess. But the point being that I don't know. There's always been a real chokehold on information regarding people having these kind of experiences. But I'm glad that his story is at least out there for whatever that's worth, and maybe something about his story will be the breadcrumbs to another phenomenon or story that people have heard of or whatever. I don't know how it ties into anything else other than missing time and of course finding this Adamski guy. That's really the bigger tragedy because, this guy just had some missing time, but the other guy didn't make it. So what the hell was going on there? I don't know. Maybe some weird testing, or maybe it was another one of those situations much like Travis Walton, where the prevailing theory is that Travis shouldn't have approached the craft and ended up becoming struck by some energy system of the craft because he was too close. If he'd stayed away, he probably would have been fine and got in the truck with his friends and left. But he approached, and so many people believe that Travis was maybe in incredibly bad shape or even passed, and they were able to revive him in the craft and then brought him back. I don't know. It's anybody's guess, but he definitely was in a bad way at first. So maybe that was the case for this guy. Maybe he decided to go up and see if he could touch it or something. You never know. And might have gotten struck the same way. There was another case in UFO where I think this guy was up in Canada, or maybe it was the UK as well. But he was fishing and saw a craft come down and near where he was, and he walked up and looked and saw, little beings, coming out of the craft and going back in. And then he was so close that he was near an exhaust vent, which was like a grid of holes in the side of the craft that ejected hot gas and actually gave him like a vent pattern of burns on his chest. He was also, irradiated from that, but he lived for a number of years. So I don't know. I think if you do see a UFO, the takeaway is keep your distance. Do not approach. Maybe unless they wave you over or something or suck you in with their tubes, just stay back. I think that's probably the best advice. The Paranormal Portal Survival Guide for Close Encounters. Just a thought. All right, let's get to the next one. And this is the last one I got from Unexplained Mysteries tonight, and then we'll go to the Sky News. But this one is having to do with Venus, and I don't know, there's a lot to unpack here. It's kind of a longer article, but we'll read parts of it here. There's been stories of Venus forever. Valiant Thor, who was allegedly an extraterrestrial that worked with the government of the United States, was apparently Venusian by his own admission. And back then we didn't really know much about Venus. This is the 50s and stuff. So there wasn't really much known or to know about Venus because it was kind of this distant planet that we could see with telescopes, and that was about it. But there's been a probe or two, I think, from Russia that landed on Venus and apparently recorded some sounds and stuff. But essentially, Venus is incredibly inhospitable. It's like got like acid rain and chemicals, ammonia vapor, I don't know, all kinds of crazy stuff that you wouldn't think would support life. So then another theory came out that maybe Valiant Thorn is people live subterranean in Venus. And well, maybe, I don't know if that's possible or not. But anyway, here's an article from unexplained-mysteries.com, which tells us a little more about Venus. It says Venus really is volcanically active, new study shows. Scientists have been looking for evidence of active volcanism on the surface of Venus for years. Venus is almost the same size, mass, and density of Earth, so it should be generating heat in its interior by the decay of radioactive elements at much the same rate as the Earth does. On Earth, one of the main ways in which this heat leaks out is via volcanic eruptions. During an average year, at least 50 volcanoes erupt. But despite decades of looking, we've not seen clear signs of volcanic eruptions on Venus until now. A new study by geophysicist Robert Herrick of the University of Alaska, Fairbanks, which he reported this week at the Lunar and Planetary Science Conference in Houston and published in the journal Science, has at last caught one of the planet's volcanoes in the act. There you go. Good job. So I guess it's really volcanic on top of everything else that's all terrible about Venus. But even if we did have the ability, it's not the place you'd want to bring the wife and kids because, you don't want to die. And it looks like it would be a mess. So even if you could live subterranean, I'm not sure you'd want to because with the threat of volcanoes at any given moment pushing their way to the crust, I think that's just a recipe for disaster personally. But what do I know? I'm just an idiot with a microphone, folks, so I don't know. But let's get to some other articles. That was enough of that one. I didn't know that about Venus, but now we know. All right, here's the first one up from Sky News, and this one I thought was kind of interesting because it seems to suggest some kind of discernment among animals. And I wouldn't have thought this, but it almost seems to suggest social hierarchies, for lack of a better term. And see what you guys think. But this is from Sky News. Thank you again, Rachel. Flamingos form friendship groups based on their personalities, study suggests. So according to their personalities, it's not very different from us, That guy's a dick. Well, let's not hang out with him. Hey, this guy's really fun. He likes to have a good time. Let's hang out with him. We form peer groups based on personality in most cases. So is it unusual that animals would do the same? Well, I guess not. I mean, it stands to reason if someone's irritating the rest of the animals, they're not going to want to be around it. But there's the bell. How'd we get here, folks? I don't know, but that's going to wrap up the news. Flamingos make friends based on personalities, and that's about all I got. So there was a couple more, but we'll hit them tomorrow night. We'll be right back. Don't go away. We've got more Portal coming up in just a minute. I'm not sure, John. John says, where are the brain cells you talk of? I'm not sure, but I know they're there because I'm still eating. I'm able to sleep, and I can talk. So those are all three of them, all three of the working brain cells I have left. But it's okay. I'm still 2 above normal. Thank you. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and we are going through our Friday night extravaganza here. The Ghost Radar is on, and there's been a couple of hits so far tonight. It's a little more active than normal, but we'll see what else pops in throughout the journey tonight, and keep an eye on that, see if any more words get spit out. Last word was color. It was coming up when I was reading the brown bear story of the brown bear getting recovered, the 3,000-year-old brown bear that was found in permafrost in Russia. It said color. Well, it's brown. Again, I'm not really like intrigued too much by the fact that it spits out words, not what words it spits out. I'm more intrigued by the fact that something is triggering it to spit out a word. I don't think the words are necessarily relevant, but the activity is, I find, intriguing. Barbara Morris says, look up. This national park ranger just revealed they found this in a forest after hearing loud noises. Unexplained Mysteries, March 15th. If you have a link, that would help me a bunch. And it's something we could cover on tomorrow's show, but I've got a live show to do, so I was already digging up promotional posters, taking way too much time for that. I think that's part of what happened with our digging into the newscast in the first half hour, but we're in the second half hour now, folks, and that means we got a lot more to get to. And thank you, Barbara. I appreciate it. No, don't apologize. That's wonderful. I appreciate your guys' suggestions a bunch. And feel free to include those in the Discord. If you want me to go over something on the shows, you can pop your links in there or simply just email them to me, whatever works best for you. I do try to check the Discord as often as I can, but, again, I'm going a lot of different directions. So, you can only do so much. I'm only one man, damn it. So, anyway, let's see what's going on tonight because we've got more on deck here. And what I'm speaking of, what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about our next segment of the show, which is one that I've been having a lot of fun with. And I really appreciate all you guys contributing your viewpoints to these. And I'm talking, of course, of Questions of the Week. And that starts now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Discord Question of the Week. And again, if you're newer to the show and you're like, what's he talking about? Well, the Paranormal Portal has a Discord server, and it's just a conversation server dealing with all the things of the paranormal. So what I can do is put a link into the chat on YouTube. And if you are a Discord user and wouldn't mind being a part of the group, we'd love to have you over there. If you like the paranormal and you'd like to dive into more of these discussions, this is where you can do it. Just a quick run through. This is our Discord server. This is it right here. It says Paranormal Portal. When you click that link, it'll bring you right here to the general. And once you join, you'll end up here. And you can see things are getting posted all the time. People are busy. ZX81V2's been at it for a while now. He's a longtime member of the Discord, and he also operates the Kev Baker show Discord, which is awesome. And special happy birthday to Kev Jr. I know it's your special day, so I hope you had a wonderful day if you're out there listening or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty awesome. But join the Discord. Love to have you over there. And so you end up in the general, and over here on the left is the different chat threads, and all you got to do is click on them. If you want to learn about Bigfoot stuff, click here. Look through the stuff that's posted. Just scroll up, scroll down, whatever you want to do. Look through all the different things that people have posted in here. There's a Dogman thread, and those are here. And great GIFs. I think those are hilarious. Like, nope. He rounds the corner and says, nope. That looks like me when I'm investigating the paranormal. No, I'm just kidding. I don't generally. Haven't yet been freaked out by that. I had some really cool experiences. Ghosts are here. UFOs are here. Extraterrestrial encounters are here, along with cartoons and stuff. Thank you. Cryptids, which are, anything outside of Dogman and Bigfoot, are here. As well as there's a music thread where people post songs that they like or videos or whatever, and these are awesome. I've actually been introduced to several new groups that I never heard of before. And then strange phenomena to round out the group. And then down below there's some voice channels. So if any of you guys ever want to, hey, let's just chat. I don't like typing. Well, you can do that if you choose. I've never seen these used, but they're there, and you can use them if you like. So this is tonight's question of the week. And that's here. And so basically the question of the week is where I post a paranormal question to all of you in our Discord community. And those of you in the chat can pipe into if you have any opinions. Just type out your opinion, at least in all capitals, but it would be best if you did a Paranormal Portal at the first part. So it gives me the orange box, so I really see it. But the question of the week this week for Friday's show was from Maggie M10, of course, who's been a part of the chat forever. She's a member of the YouTube channel as well as the Discord. And she said the phenomenon, well, this is my part at the end. She wanted to know about deja vu, see what everybody thought. So the phenomenon of deja vu is an unusual impression a person can get where they're in a brand new place or circumstances and yet have the feeling or are convinced that they've done this or been in this place before. What do you believe deja vu is? Is it just a quirk of our cerebral processes? Or is it a legitimate memory from some other aspect of ourselves? What do you think? So the first response came from ZX81V2, and he gave us a whole bunch of dejas. Deja means already, apparently, is what I've extrapolated from all these dejas. But deja entendu, already heard. Deja éprouvé, already tried or attempted. Deja failli, already done or accomplished. Deja pense. So there's all kinds of different dejas, which I didn't know about. Again, this is the kind of stuff that's really cool. Deja rencontré, already met. Deja rêvé. I don't know. I'm brutalizing these pronunciations because I speak this much French, but already dreamt and already visited. So there's lots of dejas, and seems pretty interesting. I mean, I think everybody's probably had the already dreamt one, which is deja rêvé. I've had dreams that, not for a long time, but there was a period of time where I had dreams that would repeat. Don't know what they meant. Didn't seem extraordinarily poignant for the most part. They were just these weird dreams that would happen. So the fourth caller weighs in, says, I used to think deja vu was just a lag in our brain processing. Nowadays, I really think it's almost like a moment of hyper-awareness of living that experience before. Like if time is cyclical and we've all done this before, or time is an illusion and it's only the ever-present moment that we experience it in a linear way as a human. Sometimes when I've had deja vu, I've felt like I had dreamt of that experience before. It can almost be a sickening feeling, really trippy stuff. Here's an article about a guy trapped in a state of constant deja vu that impairs his life. Yeah, I almost wonder if that's, if some deja vu could be attributed to perhaps unconscious premonitions or dreams, premonitory dreams, Like, what if you don't really remember your dreams and suddenly you find yourself in a place that you may have dreamed about, but didn't recall the dream, but all of a sudden you're there? So has that become then a premonition rather than a deja vu? That's interesting. But I don't pretend to know, just food for thought, of course. So K-Love says, when deja vu happens to me, I step back and take notice, but always brush it off as a glitch in the matrix. And there's that too. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just some bleed through. Now, I will say that there are some spiritual viewpoints that suggest that we plan our lives. And even down to, very, very distinct circumstances. And is it possible that when those circumstances happen, for whatever reason, we get a bleed through from our higher conscious that actually planned all this out? And it's like, oh yeah, I know this. I've been here. Well, maybe it was in the planning phases. Maybe it was pre-conception, that when you were planning the circumstances of your life. If that is indeed a possibility, maybe that's what deja vu is. I don't know. Just another thought. Chucky says he's going to call in tonight on this one, so we'll see if Chucky calls in. The phone lines are open, of course. Jody Private Eye Paranormal says, I read a book written by a psychic once that said, when we incarnated into this life, oh my God, I said this ahead of time. I'm sorry. I didn't pre-read these, so I'm sorry, Jody, but great minds. When we make a plan or a blueprint of what we plan to accomplish or experience throughout our lives. Because of free will, we can sometimes stray off of our path for a while or completely. When you experience deja vu, it's a moment on your blueprint you plan to happen, or tell yourself that you are currently on track and doing what you plan to be doing on your path in life, basically confirming that what is currently going on in your life is part of the plan you chose prior to incarnating. The idea intrigued me, so I thought I'd share. Well, there you go. Now, I don't pretend to know that that's what's happening, but I think it's interesting, right? So, that's, it is possible. It is possible that it was just because we planned these events of our lives. We planned lessons that we wanted to learn according to our development spiritually throughout this incarnation. I don't know. I mean, it's not without merit. So, and again, the show is never going to be about telling you what you should believe or shouldn't believe. I don't know. Maybe it's God's plan for us that we become aware of. And I don't mean to, take away from the possibility of divine guidance and providence, but, it could be tapping into the mind of God, in a sense. So Rachel says, I think deja vu can be the brain receiving some signals from an alternate reality. Very good point. When actions is both realities converge, it could be deja vu. Scientists have studied it, but they could be measuring the after effects of this mysterious phenomena that the greatest mystery, the human brain, has received from a source that we can only speculate about. Yeah. Great possibilities, too. If there is a multiverse, there's essentially infinite numbers of you experiencing infinite possibilities, and maybe sometimes they converge, that you experience the exact same things that another version of yourself is experiencing. Maybe it's not all divergent from each other. Great point. Luna Moonicorn says, I have dreams of boring and mundane situations, and then they happen. So that's sounds like premonitions. Sometimes I am like, I had a dream about this, and I can pinpoint the day I had the dream. I thought it was just my brain glitching or misremembering a dream, or my brain is tricking me and a repetitive action or routine triggering my brain to think I experienced something before. I had a dream journal for a while, and it was amazing. About once a month, I would experience deja vu and then look back and boom, I described the situation from a previous dream. This is a great question, and now I think I want to start up a dream journal again. With theories about of time being nonlinear, maybe my brain is remembering something that has happened, but because I am stuck on a linear timeline, I'm remembering it out of order. Or perhaps we remember things that versions of us have experienced on alternative timelines, and the situations are similar enough that we think we have experienced the exact thing before our timeline. Thanks for the question. This group is a great way to expand our minds by listening to others' experiences and theories. And it is such a welcoming community. Yeah, absolutely. It's been amazing to see what everything's going. And then, of course, the Maggie weighs in here and she says, I agree with Fourth Color. I used to think one of the scientific theories, as there are many, about a delay between neuronal transmitters between the eyes and the ears or other perceptual organs made a lot of sense. It's the weird feeling that goes along with it that makes me wonder more now. Almost like remembering someone else's memory or as Forth said, remembering a dream or some sort of precognition. Good point. Sometimes a deja vu has prompted me to be more vigilant, and it has paid off more than once, even if I can't explain it. Definitely weird. Thanks, Brent. Well, don't thank me. Thank you, Maggie. I appreciate you. I appreciate you weighing in on that because, hell, this is a great question. What is the mechanics of our reality? Yeah. The radar went off, did it? Oh, it did, didn't it? Didn't spit out a word, though, did it? Okay. Didn't make a noise, so it must have been a weaker presence. But anyway, very cool. We do have a call on the line, so let's get to this call. And this is area code 250. You're on the air.
Hi, this is Chucky.
Chucky, how you doing, brother?
Doing good. I just thought I'd actually weigh in because I got a couple stories about deja vu.
Oh, please. Love to hear it.
So probably the most significant story that I have goes way back. This is going to date it, but I had a dream that I was with my mom and I went to a Blockbuster in my town that didn't exist.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now, a couple years go by, I forget about the dream. Seemed kind of weird because, didn't have a Blockbuster. And the one and only time that I went to this Blockbuster that came to our town was the exact same dream that I had.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It was really gnarly.
That is pretty intense. So do you think that was that deja vu or precognition? What do you think? Or are they one and the same?
I think a little bit of both.
Okay. All right.
I think a little bit of both.
All right.
I've had these premonition dreams for as long as I can remember, but most of the time they're very mundane things. Conversations with friends or this and that. The really annoying ones are you work a long day, go to sleep, and you start having dreams about work, about, random things. So you're working in your dreams, and then you go to work, and you relive the whole situation over again.
Yeah. It'd be like never being off, right?
Those ones are a little bit annoying.
Yeah.
But one of my most recent ones, I was at work listening to the Paranormal Portal on my podcast player.
Well played, sir.
And I don't know how this happened, but while I was at work, I listened to the podcast episode that was actually a YouTube show of that evening's episode.
That hadn't happened yet?
So as the episode was going on YouTube, I was reliving it.
Wow. That's creepy. What the hell was that?
I have no idea. And for evidence of that, you can go back through the episodes and you'll see it in the chat.
No kidding, huh? So you knew what was coming up before it even happened then?
Yeah. As soon as events started to click, you can predict the next word.
That's almost disturbing though, because it makes it feel so artificial then, like nothing was as spontaneous as it felt. Like, was it all predestined or was it just pre-perceived? And that's where it really cooks your bacon,
Yeah, I've thought about it long and hard, and I don't think it's a bad thing.
Okay.
I like to think it's a way of knowing you're on the right track.
Sure. Okay.
So if it's supposed to happen, you're doing the right thing. Yeah.
No, I think that's brilliant. And I mean, it's just the first time anybody's ever told me that, I had deja vu about a whole episode. It's like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I have no control over like what subject I'll be having deja vu about, but
Sure.
yeah, that one was pretty wild.
Have you ever gone back and just kind of examined the experience? It's like, what kind of state was I in when I had the experience? I mean, did you notice anything about your state of mind that was not as normal? I don't mean normal, in the normal sense, but I mean, did you notice anything that was different? Like, did you feel lightheaded? Or did it make you feel kind of lightheaded? Like, wait, what's going on? This is weird. Or, was there anything unique about the experiences?
When I get the deja vu, I feel rather lightheaded.
Okay.
But when it happens, either I could be dreaming or in a daydreamy meditative state.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I think that's amazing. Yeah, it's strange stuff because again, if we are indeed in maybe I'm brutalizing this again, but non-Euclidean space-time where all time is in this one now, but our awareness moves through it, then I mean, it's kind of double-edged because I'd like to believe that we are free agents. We have choice. We have the ability to steer and control where we're going based on choices we make, and that creates new realities in the wake of it. But it just gets to be such a mind melt when you start thinking of the ramifications of, well, I mean, if you are in an experience that you've experienced before, but you can't put your finger on it or whatever, it becomes just surreal. Like, it seems to expose the fabric of all of this to a degree,
Yeah. Yeah, well, when the Supreme Creator decides to give you a little bit of tidbit of what might be coming up, then, just pay attention.
Amen, brother. Amen. Yeah, I think you're right. And I'm being a little cheeky with this, but I really do think something extraordinary is going on. And I think it's more than just memory artifacts, especially as you're describing your experiences, that it's kind of like precognition and deja vu all at once. And it maybe even is empowering, if you look at it closely, because maybe we can tap into that at some point. Maybe we can know when bad things are going to happen. Maybe we can adjust course for that if we dial into it, that kind of stuff. I don't know. It just becomes kind of nebulous,
Well, without any kind of like training or anything, it's kind of like throwing darts at a dartboard blindfolded. So
yeah, it is, brother. It really is. But that's fascinating. I really appreciate that you called in to share that. Yeah, brother. I don't know. I don't know what the mechanics are of this, but I find it absolutely compelling.
Yeah. I just thought I'd share that quickly, and yeah.
It's great to hear from you, man. Thanks for calling in and sharing that. And yeah, I appreciate your input, brother.
You betcha. Take care.
All right. We'll see you, brother. Okay. We have another call. And this is from area code 920. You're on the air.
Hey, this is Just Info Arsonist.
Just Info Arsonist. Welcome to the show, brother. Good to hear from you.
Yes, thank you. I'll make this quick because I know we're coming up on the break.
Oh.
I had an amazing experience of deja vu.
Did you?
So I'm 37 right now.
Okay.
Now, when I was 19, about me and my girlfriend at the time and 3 of our friends went to Six Flags in Illinois. Now, we live in Wisconsin. Now, about 6 months prior to that trip, I had a dream about going on a ride that, now I remember it, we were walking up the steps. There was yellow, purple railing going up there, and then you could look down. We walked up a couple flights of stairs to go up onto the ride.
Okay.
Now, down on the side, there was a stream with rocks and all that.
Okay.
Now, that was the dream that I had about it. And now, like I said, about 6 months later, we decided to go on a trip to the Six Flags in Illinois.
Wow.
And it wasn't until I was halfway up the stairs that it just hit me. I was like, I remember this. Like I had a dream about this.
Oh wow!
And this is not a joke. This is, I swear to you, this. Guess what the name of the ride was?
I have no idea.
Deja vu. I kid you not.
Oh, I believe you.
I kid you not. This is in Six Flags in Illinois. The ride was called it was in Six Flags, Illinois. The ride was called Deja Vu.
Oh wow, that's kind of a mind melt too, right?
Yeah.
That's intense.
That was my experience with it. So.
Well, thanks, man, for calling in and sharing that. That's pretty intense, brother.
Yeah, that was crazy. So, yep.
Well, it's great to meet you finally, and thanks for all the support to the shows, and yeah, thanks for calling in.
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to the break again, and we'll be back with more of the Paranormal Portal. Don't go away.
Play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, ripping scars across my heart. Raging anger boils inside me as their lies keep falling apart. With my silence, I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness, just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise, you're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity, just make sure that you're well fed.
I can't see you, Mommy. Where are you? I've never sensed anything like it. Caroline is not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that is different from themselves. Her life force. It is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
And years and years and years. That can go on for years. Much like that intro, I can go on for years. Welcome back, everybody. We're into the hour number 2 as we go through the Paranormal Portal. First off, thank you, Chucky. Love you, bro. Thank you. That helps a ton. Yeah, Rachel, that's a great idea. I think that'd be good. We can always expand the Discord offerings, and certainly books would be a great one. What people are reading, what books are grabbing their attention. There's several that I've got here, written by Ken Gerhard, written by Russ Accord of Expedition Bigfoot. Ken Gerhard's a cryptozoologist. And there's another one that I got around here that was sent to me by a guy. I got to get on the show still to do the podcast with me. He sent me a book right out of the gate, just like, here, I want to send you a book. What's your address? So I gave my address, and he sent me this wonderful book, and it's regional hauntings and stuff. So I'd like to reach out to him as soon as I find the book and remember who it was. But yeah, I really appreciate that. But yeah, we can do a book thread in the Discord. That makes perfect sense. We can do that. We have the ability to do whatever we want. So if you guys have other threads that you'd like to see, created or whatever, just send messages to either myself or Sheldon, and we can throw them in there. I don't know if I know how to do it or not, but I know Sheldon does, so I'm going to recommend it to him, because Sheldon actually built the Discord server for us, so that was wonderful. So welcome to hour number 2 as we're going through the Paranormal Portal. Still, I want to hit on an article having to do with some UFO stuff that I thought was pretty interesting. I have not pre-read it, so I don't know what it's going to say, but I've heard scuttlebutt about this for a while now. And so I want to share this with you, with all of you, because the portal, if at first and foremost, is a labor of love. So, and we'll keep an eye on the ghost radar. It's been kind of popping tonight a little bit, not for a little bit now, but wonder where all our spectral friends are, if they're going to stop in or not. I guess we'll look and see. But we'll see what pops off. Now watch, it just goes freaking crazy. Don't crash the computer. Don't shut off applications. That's the rules. Be respectful. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of the Paranormal Portal. All right, so the article that I want to bring to your attention is, I know I've seen this headline a few times over a few different sources. I don't know how accurate it is because, again, I haven't pre-read this, but it comes from themilitarytimes.com, and they're saying the Pentagon UFO chief says alien mothership might be in our solar system, or at least it's possible. A mothership? That's huge, right? Usually the mothership is like the big one. Like if you watch Independence Day, it's like those discs come down and they're enormous, but then they go up into space and you realize they just peeled off like scales off this huge ship, the mothership, that was in distant orbit to the Earth. And it's like, I don't know. When you think about, what is it, like Dyson spheres and stuff, and the potential for extraterrestrial civilizations to actually build structures that encapsulate a sun. I mean, that's the scale of that is just astronomical. But it is. I mean, it's just incredible. So maybe a ship floating around up there the size of a state could be concerning. But let's see what it says. This is by Zamon Perez, written Thursday, March 9th. It says, there's a possibility that extraterrestrial motherships and smaller probes may be visiting planets in our solar system. The head of the Pentagon's Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Research Office noted in a report draft shared Tuesday. An artificial interstellar object could potentially be a parent craft that releases many small probes during its close passage to Earth. An operational construct not too dissimilar from NASA missions, Sean Kirkpatrick wrote of the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. Are you serious? Do they need more acronyms, really? Wrote in a research report co-authored by Abraham Loeb, or Leb, I'm not sure how to say that, chairman of Harvard University's astronomy department. Is that Abraham? Is that Avi? Must be Avi Loeb. Loeb. Kirkpatrick, who was appointed as director of the AARO when it was founded in July 2022, previously served as the chief scientist at the Defense Intelligence Agency's Missile and Space Intelligence Center. The AARO was established to investigate unidentified objects of interest around military installations, according to the Pentagon's press release. Loeb, on the other hand, gained notoriety when he proposed our solar system had been traversed by its first extrasolar visitor in October 2017. Yeah, that was Oumuamua. At the time, the Pan-STARRS telescope in Hawaii detected an object moving at a speed that caused some scientists to suggest that it originated outside of our solar system. The object's orbit also hinted at other forces besides the sun's gravitational pull influencing its movement. Scientists dubbed the object Oumuamua, the Hawaiian term for scout, which Kirkpatrick and Loeb offered in their research paper as an example of a possible mothership with probe capabilities. With proper design, these tiny probes would reach the Earth or other solar system planets for exploration as the parent craft passes by within a fraction of the Earth-Sun separation, just like Oumuamua did. The authors explained astronomers would not be able to notice the spray of mini probes because they do not reflect enough sunlight for existing survey telescopes to notice them. The research paper, titled Physical Constraints on Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, comes following a month of intense scrutiny of unidentified flying objects, a stirring trend ignited when a Chinese spy balloon captivated the nation by drifting across U.S. airspace. Yeah, it wasn't our crowning achievement for sure in national security. 3 additional unidentified objects were subsequently found. On February 16th, Senators Marco Rubio from Florida, Christine Gillibrand, New York, and 12 other senators sent a letter to Deputy Secretary of Defense Kathleen Hicks and Deputy Director of National Intelligence Stacey Dixon calling for full funding for the AARO. The Biden administration's previous funding request for fiscal year 2023 failed to fund anything beyond the office's basic operating expenses, the lawmakers argued. AARO provides the opportunity to integrate, and resolve threats and hazards to the U.S. while also offering increased transparency to the American people and reducing the stigma. The lawmakers' letter stated, AARO's success will depend on the robust funding for its activities and cooperation between the Department of Defense and the intelligence community. Wow. So they can build a satellite that can read the date on a dime down on a sidewalk, but they couldn't see if Oumuamua was spraying a bunch of drones and probes. Okay, well, I mean, didn't they got that big new, what the hell is it? Telescope that can, basically see a flea on Mars. And I don't know. Maybe they should start using that more. I don't know. I guess they need more money, folks, though, and I guess that's the takeaway here. Everything needs money, including me. All right, so that's kind of current news. What do you guys think? Could there be a mothership floating around? Was Oumuamua one of them? Now, I'll tell you that the shape of Oumuamua was also pretty intriguing because it was rather flat and elongated, which isn't really a shape that survives well in the stresses of space, as far as like a comet or a rock, meteorite or meteor of some kind, to just go through the forces of the galaxy. It would break apart. It would, degrade into a much more simple form just by the amazing pressures and forces acting on it as it passed celestial bodies. So the shape of Oumuamua by itself was very intriguing, but apparently the way it came by the sun, when it was like, that's what really caused a lot of people to, wide-eyed responses, even in the scientific community, because what the hell is that? It shouldn't have been able to turn like that just based off the sun's gravity, but it did. And there's lots of natural explanations. Perhaps it was ejecting hot gases as it was warmed by the sun, and that did it. And, I'm not saying there's no merit to those kind of things, but I think these people that were taken back by that were, educated enough to go, no, that's not a normal kind of ejection from a rock to change its trajectory. So was. I mean, when Oumuamua came by, Avi Loeb was the first one to go, hey, I think that's for, possibly alien technology. And he took some on the chin for that, but, God bless the guy. At least he stuck by the merits of what he observed and was able to say, hey, look, this doesn't make sense using traditional physics and our science and astrophysics. So I don't know. I'm certainly not qualified enough to come to any kind of conclusions based on what normally should happen with space rocks and what did happen in this case. But I just know that enough people were taken aback by the way that it made its journey and its shape, that it obviously is like nothing we've ever seen before. So, are they ejecting? Are they like a flyby? Is it like the local newspapers? The car drives by and dumps all these shoppers into your mailbox and stuff that you never use, and you basically use to start little fires. Maybe, but anyway, I don't know. Food for thought, but maybe there's motherships floating around. I don't know what you guys think. Is it possible? You be the judge. All right, so that was that article. I think that's a good one. Here's an article that was proposed by somebody in the Discord, I think, and I don't remember who, so my apologies. It has to do with it's from Microsoft, of all places, MSN.com. But here you go. Let's get to it now. And this is, robots are replacing humans in the last place you'd expect, and it's terrifying experts. Where's the last place we'd expect robots to replace people? I don't know. Let's see what it says. Artificial intelligence has infiltrated several aspects of humanity in the last few years, but technology may have crossed the line in India, where a robot is performing a prayer ritual. Yeah, that's not right. I'm going to go right on record and say, nope, that shouldn't be happening, because prayer is a spiritual thing. It's not just a recitation, mechanical recitation along with gestures. It's a spiritual thing. And I think that's horrible. I think that's terrible. While some feel the robotic change highlights innovation, leading to the betterment of society, where others are worried that the incorporation of artificial intelligence into religion is a bad omen for the future. The first time a robot was introduced into Hinduism was in 2017, At the time, a technology firm developed a robotic arm to perform an AARTI during the prayer. Light in the form of the small lamp is offered to one of the deities to symbolize the removal of darkness. The technology was unveiled at the Gampati festival. Yeah, that shouldn't be happening. That's not right. The annual event sees millions of people participate in a prayer procession led by the statue of Ganesha. It culminates with the deity being immersed in the Mulamutha River in India. Since then, the robotic arm has inspired several prototypes. Some are regularly used in prayer ceremonies across India, East Asia, and South Asia. Rituals with a robotic assistant also include animatronics, temple deities. Jesus, what is this, Disney? You don't need to animate your deities, for God's sakes. The most popular is a statue of Ganesha in the city of Kerala on the south coast of India. However, this type of technology has resulted in several debates about using artificial intelligence in worship. But the religious community shouldn't be too worried, since spiritual devotion is primarily about one's beliefs. Yes, anthropology expert Holly Waters examined the uneasiness Hindus and Buddhists express about robots replacing them, and whether the technology might make better devotees. What? While the contemporary version of automated rituals often refers to apps that recite mantras, new technology has prompted complicated conversations, she wrote in the conversation. It prompted complicated conversations, she wrote in the conversation. Well, that's fitting. There are concerns that robot proliferation might prompt people to leave temples if the locations rely on automation. Yeah, I mean, it's a small world at Disney, for God's sakes. You don't need Ganesha waving at you as you come by in a little raft. You know, that's not the way it works. Going to have Jesus winking on people as they go by. You know, come on. It doesn't work that way. It shouldn't. It's a spiritual thing completely. All right, I'm kind of putting my biases right out there, but no, I don't think this isn't right at all. I mean, do you want Disney designing your temples and your holy places, you know, with a water slide at the end of them or something? Hey, here's the baptism slide. Let's go, kids. Come on, this is dumb. All right, I'm just gonna call that a wash and just say no, that's not good. My opinion. I don't know what you guys think, but it's just not good. That's not a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing, but believe what you want. Come on, kids, let's go over to the communion buffet. It's like, what the hell? Little Jesus action figures. Hey, I got my Jesus doll. Come on. Some things shouldn't be technologically introduced. And I think that's one of them. You got the action figures, Jesus action figures, and like Judas is the bad guy. Oh, no. All right. Oh, Shiva. Now I'm become death, destroyer of worlds. Let's go get him. Sorry. I can't help it. All right. Anyway. We'll have time for this one before the break. It's 7 minutes. I don't think so. I don't think I can read this in 7 minutes. All right, I'll read this one tomorrow. It has to do with phone calls from the dead. I love those stories because I think they are powerful. Very, very powerful stories of people receiving phone calls from the dead. So we'll cover that tomorrow night. I definitely want to get to the Cryptid Corner, and I think we'll probably start that now because I have a few, several pulled up actually. And I want to start with, let's see, what is this one? I'm just looking for the right size of one to do. This one's a little bit longer. I can't read this one. Let's go to the next one. I always have to manage the time when we're on the network, because when we're not on the network, we won't be tomorrow night. So we'll do commercial free tomorrow night. But here's one I think we should be able to get to. Yeah. Okay, so this is coming from phantomsandmonsters.com. We're kind of starting the Cryptid Corner a little early here. Again, support phantomsandmonsters.com. Lon's published works are listed there, as is Phantoms and Monsters podcast. as is his research efforts and tons and tons and tons of accounts that people have witnessed. So we're going to go, first of all, to an article he's got there. Woman observed transforming into reptilian being in Fresno, California. That's not what you like to see from women, I don't think. I'm just speaking for myself. In April of 2000 in Fresno, California, my friend picked me up in her car. We were slowing down to a stop at a red light, and there were cars to the right of me who were already stopped at the light. As my friend slowly pulled up to the car, to the right of me, the driver of the car slowly turned her head to look at me. Oof, that's already creepy. When she fully turned her head in my direction, she smirked at me and then transformed her head into a reptilian face/head. It looked like a lizard with shades of brown, a burgundy red color, and a little bit of a tan color to highlight. Then the face shifted back into a human face and the woman drove off. When the face was shifting, it had a blue aura around it. Oh, dear God. I heard another story about a blue light being seen on a live stream right before the person recorded disappeared on camera and the video was removed. So it makes me think either the reptilian was using technology that cloaks their real identity or the energy shows up as a blue light when they shift. Yikes. Then in June of 2021, I went to the ESETI Ranch in Washington and asked for a Sasquatch to appear for a picture. They gave me a spiritual image of Sasquatch that also had a blue light in the picture. If you want to see orbs, UFOs, possibly hear or see Sasquatch, just go to ESETI for 3 days and watch Mount Adams at night. Well, if again, what do you do with this? This is a whole laundry basket full of stuff in this one story. One very short story. So they've managed to culminate between seeing this transitioning reptilian person/woman into seeing orbs, into going to ESETI to see Sasquatch. So this is like a whole basket full of stuff in a very, very short form. I don't know that all of them are interrelated or not. I know I've heard the arguments that maybe Sasquatch have extraterrestrial origins. I don't really subscribe to that personally, because I think that there's at least circumstantial evidence to suggest that some of the former hominids and hominoids may very well have become what we understand to be Sasquatch today. In fact, there's more evidence for that in the fossil record, I think, than there is for us. So I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't know where the missing link is to put us into this tree for sure. I know there's lots of people that get paid and have way more schooling and education, but I think I kind of believe more along the lines of the idea that Sasquatch is probably the existing ancestor of a lot of these hominids that came before, whether it's, some form of Gigantopithecus, which I don't believe either. I think that may be a forerunner to a lot of modern orangutans. But I think that the Australopithecines, there's others of that seem to follow along at least a possible trajectory into what we know as Sasquatch today. So I don't know. Now, I don't discount the idea that maybe they are studied and abducted by UFOs as well, because they are, these basically apex creatures that don't sit underneath much of anything. I think they're pretty much on top of the chain. So for perhaps if these extraterrestrials are here studying life forms on Earth, they're going to look at the biggest, the strongest, the most successful. And maybe that's why they get picked up too. Plus, I think they're inquisitive and curious. But are they related to orbs? I don't know. Again, you get into this real murky area in the paranormal where there's a lot of bleed through from different phenomena into each other. And it gets kind of confusing to try to keep it all together. It's like, well, are these spiritual? Are they extra dimensional? Are they physical? Well, they leave footprints. They eat stuff. They've been observed. They interact physically with the world that they're in. They break trees. They, build forts or whatever, structures. So they seem to be very, very physical. And yet people have observed them doing what looks to be supernatural events, fading, phasing, any number of things like that. So who knows? But I think the transitioning person into a reptilian thing, it's kind of like the big extraterrestrial middle finger. Like, yeah, we're here. I mean, literally, it's like, it's not like it hit or anything. It was like, oh yeah, you're looking at me. Look at this. Watch this. And it turns into a lizard. It's like, oh, that's nightmare fuel right there, folks. But we're going to go to the last break and we'll be back for more of the Cryptid Corner. So I hope you stick around. It'll be just a few minutes. We'll be right back. I'm going to go use the loo. So don't go away. More to come in just a moment. A lot more of these cryptid stories that I can squeeze into the last half hour. So see you in a couple minutes. ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and we got a lot more to get to. A lot more. There's so much more. There's so much more. Got a lot of cryptid reports to get through, but that was kind of a good one, I guess. It's just a truckload of stuff in one short story, so there's so much to go through and not a lot of meat on those taters. I don't know if there is meat on taters, but you know what I'm going after here. You know what I'm saying. I hope you know what I'm saying. I'm not always sure what I'm saying, but at least I try. Let's see, what was this one? This is kind of a weird one. This one is more, I'm going to skip that one for now because it's not really cryptid related. This is one I wanted to read to you, and this also comes from Phantoms and Monsters. And Lily loves cryptids. Good. Well, you've come to the right place, Lily Bond, because we've got cryptids to talk about here. The next one is also from phantomsandmonsters.com. Again, this is Lon's site, wonderful site, and please support it. And let them know that the Paranormal Portal sent you, by God. Let them know. Right now, this is a newer phenomena that I've only recently, I've heard mention of it very, very sparsely through the years. Very, very, very sparsely. You don't hear these stories very often. I don't know necessarily what's going on here, if this is a potential skinwalker / shapeshifter thing, or if this is indeed its own cryptid. I'm not sure. This is one of those that really has me kind of perplexed. And again, there's just not much information out there, but these do come up. And what are they exactly? And what I'm talking about now, in a lot of shamanistic traditions, there's talk that these medicine people could shapeshift. They could become different animals, and I imagine as such, they can probably make that appearance more humanoid than normal, than a normal natural fauna of that form would do. And what I'm talking about here is this article from Phantoms and Monsters from March 10th. Upright, not deer. And I don't know that phrase is new to me. I'd not heard them called not deer, but pair crossed the road in front of Massachusetts couple. What does that do to your egg, to witness something like that? It's like, seeing a deer jump in front of you is one thing, or to run across the road, or to be on the road. It's already an alarming event if you're at, especially in the nighttime when it's like, oh, God, there's a deer, and it causes you to go into like John Wick mode and try to avoid them and stuff. But here's these stories of these upright, not deer. What the hell would it look like to see that on the two back legs just walking across the road? Well, it's come up before. I know that Tony on the Confessionals has done at least one show that I'm aware of where he talked about these upright deer. And I think it's horrifying. It would be a confusing thing to see, because how do you process that exactly? If you saw a deer running on back legs with big antlers and running with, I don't know if they have hands or they have little hoofs or what the hell's going on there, but it's gotta be just a real mind screw. But anyway, this says a Worcester County, Massachusetts couple is driving on Route 20 late at night when they encounter a pair of tall, upright deer-headed animals with black hair and wolf-like back legs. Are they dogmen with a disguise? I'm not a dogman, I'm a deer. I don't know. Okay, I want to start off by saying I do not really believe in strange creatures from the abyss, and I'm not a huge fan of looking for Bigfoots. I'm just a regular guy who saw something that I can't explain. I just want to know if this is something that maybe someone else has seen. I was driving down Route 20 in Northborough, Massachusetts at around 2 a.m. one night in 2007. My girlfriend at the time was in the car with me. When we reached a more wooded area, I saw two animals crossing the road. Both of them stopped and turned to look at my oncoming car. Well, they're behaving like deer. It's like, what the hell? Just keep going. Get the hell off the road. But they just sit and look like. When I saw them, I turned on my high beams thinking they were deer. After a brief moment, they both took about 2 steps and cleared the road and were in the woods. I looked at my girlfriend, who looked back at me and said, "Did you see that? Those were not deer." We made a few jokes about it and ended up calling them the things on Route 20. Well, they had fur on them that was the length of a deer, really short, except the fur was black. Height would be about 7 feet tall. That's plenty big. Their eyes were reflective, like when a cat looked at you from the dark. The head was deer-like, except that they had ears that pointed upwards. I know I'm going to get flamed for the next part, but they were standing upright on their back legs like a human would. It's difficult to describe what their legs look like, but the closest thing that I can say is they resembled what a wolf's back legs look like. Where only the ends of the paws were touching the ground and the ankle is up off the ground. Place your feet under your chair so that only your toes are flat against the floor. Have you heard of something similar to this so I can try to research it further? Thank you. TLD. And Lon's note is, was this not deer? It seems to suggest so from the description. Your thoughts? Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm really not very familiar with what the hell these are. And they're sighted so incredibly rarely that it just, you almost don't know what to do with it. Because whenever you get standalone reports like that, or almost standalone, there are others out there of people seeing these, but either they are so incredibly rare that they are just very few of them around, or they're just something else that looked weird at that time. And that's why I said, is this a shapeshifter thing? Like, kind of like the lizard woman, like, oh, I'm a woman. No, I'm not. I'm a lizard. And then, and then driving off. Is it something messing with people? Like, hey, let's try this one out. See what the people do, you know? And that's what really makes you wonder. It's like, what is these standalone things, almost completely unique, except of a one or two other reports that I've heard. Now, I do know that Lon has a few not deer claims on his site, and this is the first one I've run across, but I've seen headlines in the past that I wanted to hit on the shows, but I never did. But you be the judge. I don't know, what do you make of these things? What are these? Are these something brand new that just popped on the scene within the last decade or so? Or have they always been here and just nobody's seen them before? Or maybe it's one of those Scooby-Doo things where it's like, and then you look and they're gone already. You know, it's like, what's wrong with my eyes? They're not seeing correctly. You know, you just rub your eyes and hope for sanity when you reopen them. So I don't know. And then again, you know, let's say, for instance, Bigfoot. We have tons of reports of people seeing Bigfoot because there's a lot more people that have come to terms with the fact that Bigfoot may very well be out there. And so to come forward with a report fits. It's like, well, there's these Bigfoot out there. That makes perfect sense. I saw one. I know what I saw because of all these other things I've heard, and you're part of a club. But what do you do if you see something like this? You're in your own club. It's like you're in a club of one at that point. And how do you quantify that to people? So it's one thing to say, well, Bigfoot's out there. And there's thousands of people that'll run to your defense and say, yes, they are. I'm absolutely convinced they are. Maybe even millions of people. But how many people are going to back you up on a walking deer that's walking on 2 legs? So maybe more people are seeing them, but they just don't want to be that person because people generally aren't seeing these, or if they are, they're not talking about it. So you be the judge. I don't know what to make of it. It's just strange. And that's kind of my journey into this. It's like, if you can imagine it, whatever it is, somebody's probably seen something like it. And I don't know if that has to do with the credibility of witnesses, or are there really that many diverse things out there that we're not aware of? Because it's one thing to say, okay, there's Dogman and there's Bigfoot out there, and maybe some like these little white walkers or whatever the hell they call them, they're not skinwalkers, but they're the basically the ghouls or the rakes kind of things. There's other names that I can't ever get straight, but you know, there could be those things out there. There's several witnesses to that fact. But what about these other things? I don't know. You be the judge. Again, it's not my objective to ever substantiate. Something is out there. I do believe there are other things out there. I just don't know what to do with that. I don't know what that means. Is our world expanding with other dimensions? I mean, are we merging with other dimensions, and that's why these weird things are popping up? Or is it just people sometimes imagine things, or is it a statement of to the witness themselves? I mean, this guy seems pretty normal. I mean, I only got a few paragraphs to go by, but he's not, too far off the map, I don't think. At least from the merit of what he said in his retelling. It's like, what do you do with that? So you be the judge. I don't even know. I'm not even sure. Here's one about the Dogman. Does Dogman roam Cape May, New Jersey? Is its presence hidden by residents? What a concept that would be. So oftentimes we think of Dogmen, we think of these incredibly aggressive, terrifying things. And it's hard to imagine people being protective of that. But is it possible that people have lived around them long enough to know that we just don't want people coming and poking around our woods and disturbing them? They're not bothering us. We're not bothering them. So is that possible? And I think it could very well be. I mean, one thing I'll say about Dogman reports is that when people do stumble on them, generally they seem very aggressive. But they also seem to be exercising a hell of a lot of restraint, because they could easily shred people. They could easily tear people apart, but don't. And whether that's an intelligent discernment, or is it just because they don't really want to hurt people? I don't know. But again, you be the judge. It doesn't seem too far-fetched. I've heard of, people allegedly befriending Bigfoot and protecting them as well, living in close proximity to a clan or family group of Bigfoots, and so they kind of keep it hush-hush. So let's see what's going on in this story. As a young woman was out in the evening selling cable, and Wi-Fi services, so it is multimedia, to customers in their home in Cape May, New Jersey, she then unexpectedly encounters a huge canine-like cryptid. The following account was recently forwarded to me. So to begin, this story happened in 2018, and I arrived at the small rural town near Cape May, New Jersey. The company I was working for at the time was sending me out to go door to door, advertising cable and Wi-Fi that they wanted me to sell. Well, I was getting weird vibes all throughout the day, as the town itself was very small and a bit creepy, with people staring at me or giving me cold shoulder for the entire day. It seemed like a lot of townsfolk that I encountered that day were on edge, and it was a weird, tense atmosphere that I just shrugged off, as people are weird all the time. I continued doing my job, chugging a Red Bull to keep me going, which didn't affect me at all, surprisingly. Besides the weird atmosphere, the scenery was actually quite pretty once you got off the main road. I had to stop at different streets and somewhere in the woods on long and seemingly beautifully endless roads. It was really quite scenic. Just before sunset, I was scheduled to visit a few houses on a small peninsula. To get to this peninsula, you had to go down a very long road past a summer camp area, past a trailer park, past the woods, and then you finally find yourself in a small open area with a bay marsh and a couple of small expensive homes and a shore access. The houses were so close to the water it seemed to be a code violation, but I'm sure they were built to withstand storms since they looked so expensive. Every house had its own theme, and the area was mostly deserted. Only one house had someone inside, whom I talked to after knocking on his door. I was so distracted looking at the houses and scenery that I didn't notice how fast sunset was approaching. Well, I came to the realization that I should start heading back to avoid being alone on that long deserted pathway in the woods. As a smaller female, I'm never comfortable after dark in isolated places. I don't think anybody is. It doesn't have to do with gender. Especially without cell service. Well, I was making my way down the path, so far so good, and it wasn't completely dark yet. As I approached the wooded area of the road, I was walking a bit faster since there were no streetlights and the sunlight was rapidly disappearing. As I walked at a decently fast pace, I noticed something. The woods were eerily quiet. All the life that I was hearing before was gone. No crickets, no birds, just pure silence. Well, I stopped in my tracks and got chills down my spine as I felt the feeling that I was being watched. I looked around the dark woods for any sudden movements, and then, like clockwork, something up ahead made its way out of the tree line. It looked to be some type of large animal. My brain went into overdrive analyzing whatever this animal was. Was it a bear? A dog? No, it looked like a large dog, but dogs don't get this big. Though I was intimidated by its large size, whatever it was hadn't noticed me. Even though I was scared, I also didn't want to walk back and go into that one man's house. As a woman, I would rather take my chances with the wild animal than be alone with a man I don't know in a deserted holiday neighborhood. Suddenly, as I was thinking this, the large animal in the distance finally noticed my presence. It was observing me, not entirely sure of what to do with me. There wasn't enough light for me to see the animal's face, but I felt unusually frightened. Whatever I was looking at was definitely too big to be a black bear, with the shoulder height of at least 5 feet on all fours, which is comparable in size to a brown bear. The mass of this creature was extensive, as the outline of what I could see looked like a wolf on steroids. It was very muscular, and I also noticed that the outline of its face was very similar to that of a German shepherd or a wolf, as it had perked ears, a long snout. In the head, in the heat of the moment, I could only hear the sound of my heart palpitating as fear and adrenaline started to crawl their way into my bloodstream. I felt as if time stood still, and then it dawned on me. What I was looking at wasn't a normal animal, and it was simply too big to be any animal that I could recognize from New Jersey's catalog of fauna. And if it wanted to attack me, I would be powerless against it. It was simply too big. Though, to calm myself down, I threw the idea that this creature was out of the ordinary out because I felt like this could be rationalized somehow. Well, I made my brain go back to the idea of this being maybe a large dog or coyote. I also did not believe in cryptids and was completely unaware of what size coyotes are supposed to be, so I made a quick decision, realizing that this could very well be a life or death situation. I came to the conclusion that this very large dog-like creature was probably a skittish coyote that I could scare off, at least temporarily, to calm down my nerves. What other choice did I have? The longer I kept standing there, the more aggressive I might come across to this animal, and I didn't want it to get territorial or get the idea that I was easy prey. So I decided I'd make the most hideous, loud, confusing, and startling scream howl I could muster, and just sprint the rest of the way. Well, after I screeched this hideous sound out of my body as hard as I could, the animal quickly changed its body language to defensive. And then it quickly changed its mind to deciding I wasn't worth a fight as it ran a decent distance into the woods. Not too far, though. I decided to sprint as fast as I could past that area and beyond, and I sprinted until I reached the end of the road and noticed there was a summer camp area with streetlights near me. Well, I rested on top of a table there, out of breath and feeling my heart pound out of my chest. However, I was still very shaken up and still felt like I was being watched. Well, I kept my eyes on the tree line. My eyes were darting around looking for any sign that this animal was still there. Once I felt like the coast was clear, I located the next house I was scheduled to visit, and I quickly made my way over. I met a nice family who ended up buying cable for me, and I told them what had happened to me that night and how I was treated by the locals. The lady of the family, who I presumed to be the mother, said, "I don't know why they sent you out here alone. These woods are dangerous after dark, and there are creepy people who live around here." The impression she was giving me was that there were animal encounters she couldn't explain, and that there were lots of ex-convicts in the area and people who should have been arrested but haven't been. She was equally concerned about the people as she was about the animals around this place. Well, this gave me goosebumps. How many times today could my life have been taken? They were extremely concerned for my safety and told me to contact my team leader so I could get picked up. And they said they didn't want me to go outside again and that I should call it quits for the night and not make it to any other houses. To this day, I still have no idea what creature I encountered. There are strange things in the woods, things people don't speak about or cover up. I felt like the townsfolk of that town knew something about what I encountered, so weird creature I encountered in the woods, let's never meet again. Yikes. So she never did see it stand up. It was always on all fours where she saw it, but if it's 5 feet at the shoulders, that's a huge animal. I mean, what would it be standing up then? A good 8 feet? Would it be 3 feet taller then? I don't know. Maybe more? I mean, my God. She's just very fortunate if that's the case. Wow. Night portal, aggravated progressive, are you leaving me? It's okay. You are allowed. That can happen sometimes. Some people got to get to sleep. But, dogmen are they're a fascinating cryptid. And there's another one that it's hard to figure, because do we have any merit in what we know of science and what we know of and I don't like to cite the fossil record much, because one of my pet peeves is that, well, there's no proof of that in the fossil record. Well, the fossil record is not a completed compendium of science. It's an ever evolving, prone to discovery. It's not a completed work. And to cite the fossil record as a end all and be all of what can be and what can't, I think is premature at best. So is there things that don't appear in the fossil record that we found? I mean, the fossil record is just people digging up fossils. Well, we found dinosaurs. Well, some. They're finding new dinosaurs all the time still. And these are not little mini things. What else will they discover as we start scratching the surface and start digging and continue to research this stuff? Is there some merit to these dogmen in our fossil record? I don't know. I mean, there could very well be. I don't know. I'm not sure how the whole, canid line runs, and are there any, I don't know, hominoids of that could turn up at some point? Maybe. I don't know. I know bipedalism is not unique to humans, obviously. There's several things that can travel bipedally just fine, like gorillas and apes and chimps and other things like that. Any of the primates. But do you see black bears that can? There's this one black bear, I think it was in New England, Maine, I think, but both its front paws were injured. And that black bear traversed completely on its back legs all the time. And it would just walk around. People showing footage of it outside of their windows. This thing was perfectly suited and adapted itself to walking on 2 legs, because it couldn't use its front legs. When it would feed, then it would get down on all fours and kind of fumble with its broken paws. Whatever had happened, I don't know. But it had managed to survive by becoming bipedal. Is that a good long-term strategy? Probably not, because I'm sure anatomically they're not suited for, full-time bipedalism just by their structure. But it can, and it does. So I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I have a lot of questions. I think these things are very interesting. But I will tell you this, folks. We have essentially completed our journey through the paranormal portal tonight. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves. I hope you've had a good time with this. I hope that if you enjoyed this, you will like the stream. I hope you will mention it to other people that you know that are into this, whether you belong to other groups. Let them know about the paranormal portal. So we like to have fun on the show. I don't like this to be too altogether serious because this stuff is dark and serious enough on its own. So let people know. Watch out for the podcast. I'll be back tomorrow night with Sheldon here on the Paranormal Portal. So I hope you will join me then right here on YouTube, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. Good night, everybody.